That was great. I mean, it's one of those things where you got to face the reality of how you prepared and performed, and you got to accept it. And it's not always easy, and you got to have your, thick skin to handle some criticism. And coaches had to do the same thing with each other and decide how we could have prepared the team better. And we just all came out Sunday with just like a no excuses mentality. And I think I've heard some of the other players talk about it. It was from warm up to pregame to focus to the first 5 minutes, and we really carried it throughout the game. It was pretty complete performance, to be honest, that early in the season. I mean, it's not our best of the year. Hopefully it won't be our best of the year, but it certainly was a really good one.
How big was it just for Kirsten just to finally see that ball finally hit the net? Because I know you've been talking about her in practice.
Yeah. And she scored, 11 minutes into her first preseason game, but that doesn't count. So she's a goal scorer, and goal scorers start to work on their own head if they don't put it in the back of the net. So I know she's going to score a bunch of goals for us over her 4 years, and I'm glad to see she got her first one.
Coming in, I guess, what did you kind of expect from her? And I guess what's kind of the ceiling for her? I know you talked about it before, but I guess what do you kind of expect from her?
Well, we don't try to put too many expectations on our freshmen. We just want to get comfortable. And once they start doing the things they were doing as youth players and as national team players at the collegiate level, then we know they've made the transition, and she's doing that. From there, then we start to coach them more, because you want to find those next levels, those next layers of their game, whether it's just consistency in finishing or hold-up play or whatever it is that you really wanted to get better at. And I don't think she has a ceiling. I mean, that'll be up to her. Skillful enough, athletically enough, mentally tough enough, fit enough, pays attention to her body. She's got all the tools for a young player to go really far. We'll see how far she decides to take it.
I know everyone kind of focuses on that goal, but obviously the back line had a real huge play later. I believe it was like 2 or 3 minutes afterward that kind of got the ball out there. How big has the back line been, other than that 3-0 loss, just to kind of keep the shutouts and just kind of keep the ball out of the net?
Yeah, I mean, we got to own the first 2 goals against Pepperdine. They were very uncharacteristic of us. The third one I thought Pepperdine earned for sure, broke us down and got a far post finish. But other than that, we've shut everyone out preseason and the other 3 games. The back line's mature, it's fast, it's tough, and even though we've got 2 relatively inexperienced goalkeepers, they're both good shot blockers and very good at communication. So we've organized the game in front of our goalkeepers well, and I think our back line just keeps growing every week. And we've been able to play several different groups, and they've all got the job done.
Coach, you've gotten kind of the excitement and maybe some nerves out with the first regular season game. Do you find that there's kind of a new set when it comes to the first home game, home opener, especially for the younger girls?
Yeah, I think, going 4 in a row on the road wasn't easy for our girls, but it was something we needed to do because we weren't as good on the road last year as we had been in the previous years. I was like, all right, we're going to play 6 out of the first 8 on the road and get that over with and get toughened on the road. Let's go get in environments where there's nobody there, and then there was no one in San Diego. We had way more fans than they did. Pepperdine was packed, so we experienced an angry road crowd, as angry as people from Malibu can be, and then we experienced nobody. So in those environments, you're fighting the elements a little bit. You come back here, and it's a whole different feeling. But one thing we've noticed, if we open here with a bunch of young players, sometimes that's like, wow, there's 2,000 crazy Red Raider fans here. So I think we're finding that balance of being able to play on the road, create our own environment in our heads, and then come home knowing that environment's created for us.
What's the biggest thing you find out about your players, especially the young ones on the road? You talked about kind of creating that experience. Is that the biggest thing you learn about your team, about your players?
I think the thing you watch for is who's mentally tough, who can block out distractions, who can focus over 4 days. It's just literally like soccer for 4 days. We weren't in school yet. So other than a few other things that the girls got to do, it was pretty much just all focusing on those 2 games. So you just kind of see the maturity level of the young players and how they're able to prepare for games on the road.
Now, loss is never good. I'm not insinuating that. But
No.
Is it nice to get it out of the way early to see how they respond, to get them that response early on in the season?
If it wasn't a team that I think beating them would have vaulted us up in a bunch of different ways, yeah, you could make that case. But you only have so many Pepperdines on your schedule. There's a few more coming up, and it's never okay to let it get away in that manner. We literally handed them to a 2-goal lead, and they're just too good to do that. So that's super disappointing. Did we take things from it? Absolutely. Did we respond? Absolutely. So we've turned it into a positive, but it's not like we were hoping for that opportunity.
I guess just 4 matches in. I guess if you could provide a status update for Jade King.
Yeah, I think she's getting close. She's getting close. She's working every day. Our medical staff does a great job, but we're just being careful. She's our leading scorer last year, and you rush her back and you put yourself in a position to lose her for longer. So she's definitely improving, and we're looking forward to getting her back out on the practice field.
I guess do you kind of feel in that sense that's why you've been able to kind of give some of the freshmen a little bit more experience or just more playing time?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that Fernando has benefited from that. Natalie has benefited from that. I thought the competition up front was really going well. But it's also something to be said for Allie Griffin and Katie getting 80, 90 minutes a game. I mean, they're young, and every minute they get is helping them. When Jade comes back, it just helps all of us, because you shouldn't play both your top forwards 90 minutes a game and expect them to be around in October. It's like, running the ball too much in a football game. Ultimately you just clobber your running back. So they do need some breaks during the season, during the game, and Jade coming back will certainly allow us to make changes on the fly and not have the level drop.
Is that an injury she had prior to the season?
I'm not really sure of the history there. Yeah.
Coach, Appalachian State team you visited last year, what can we expect from this team here this year?
Well, last year we went in and thought, it wasn't going to be that tough of a game, and there was about 20 people when they were playing the national anthem, but they had about 500 people over the back of the hill at some tailgate. So when they kicked off, the stadium was full, and they were screaming at us, and we were in the mountains, and there's like all these trees everywhere. We couldn't see around the corner, and we were like, oh my gosh. And then they scored, and we were like, what have we got ourselves into? And then we fought our way through a great second half, scored literally a world-class goal from Gwenny Puente, and turned it to be a great second half comeback. So hopefully we don't spot them a goal this time, but their coaching staff is really good, and their team has some great attitude about playing maybe the, quote, bigger name teams. So this is one of the big games for them on their non-conference schedule, and we're looking at it exactly the same way. It's our home opener. They came really close to upsetting us last year, and we're not taking them lightly.
I think because we lost, we learned a lot from it, so we didn't take it any negatively at all. We learned a lot, and the day after we just totally reflected of how much we need to focus and be ready for this season. I think it was a good eye-opener for a lot of the girls, and the younger girls especially, of how much we're going to have to do for this season to be good. And so the game after was definitely awesome for us because we came out to play, and we know just how good we can be if we play. And we only scored 1 goal, but we had 25 shots on goal, and we dominated the whole thing. So I think the game after was awesome. It was just what we needed.
Did it maybe show you where this group is at mentally and physically, given the fact that San Diego had like 8 or 9 days off? You guys were on the road and fresh off a match that you were able to, like you said, put 25 on goal.
Yeah, I think it was definitely, since it was a hard Friday game, the Sunday game was huge for us because were rested and they were totally prepared the whole week for us, and we were coming off a tough Friday night and had to recover mentally and physically. So I think that just we know we could bounce back and could be better with knowing how hard we had to play Friday, and we still had it together Sunday, and I think that shows that our team can do a lot this year.
Just from previous year's experience, at what point does the team kind of start to gel and get it together? Is this around the time, or is this the feeling out period?
We're still feeling things out. I mean, we're playing good. It's not going to be the best soccer we have. I'm sure our team can grow so much better, and we have a lot of potential. And so I think just right now we're still feeling things out, and the new players are just trying to fit in with the system, and we're still figuring, like even the older players are still figuring out our system. And so I think our best soccer is yet to come, but we're doing great right now for how our lead is.
What can it be?
I think we can be one of the top teams if we put our mind to it. I think just like Friday, we weren't mentally prepared, and it showed a lot with from our warm-up in the locker room to the whole rest of the game. So I think mentally we'll have it, and we just need to keep it up.
In terms of Kirsten, I guess how big was that just for her confidence to get that goal? And I guess what were your all's thoughts when you saw the goal?
For Katie, it's huge because obviously she's a freshman, and she works so hard in practice and in games, and she hadn't got that yet. So I think especially in the big game we needed that. It was Sunday and the tough weekend. So I think it was huge for her because she knows she can do it, and she can be that piece for us that we've been missing. And I mean, we all dogpiled her, and she was in and out of the game, and I think that it shows that, she can just, in the final minutes, we still need her, and she needs to always be ready, and so it was really good for her.
I know in practice she's been scoring a lot of goals, so I guess just for her, just to finally see that goal in net during a game, I guess from your perspective, I guess as a player, I guess how big is that just to kind of see a ball finally hit the net?
I think it's huge for her because I guess you can get discouraged with like, I'm never going to score. And so finally it paying off and getting one in, she knows that. I mean, it'll progressively get better and better, and she just needs to take what she does in practice into the games, and I think it's finally translating for her, and she'll be huge this season.
I guess what have y'all done from a defensive perspective that's kind of kept you, other than, of course, the loss, I guess, what have y'all done to kind of get those shutouts so far?
Our back line we have a lot of older players, so I think it's more maturity and things like that. But I mean, we just try and stay as composed as we can, and we know we are a team that builds from the back to get to our forwards, so we know it starts with our back line for our forwards to get what they need done. So I think it's just a whole field mentality.
After playing the first couple games on the road, how nice is it to finally get back here and play a game at home?
We're so excited to finally play at home. It's always tough away because you always have the fans against you, and we're so far, California and all the places we've been, that we don't have that many fans. So it's going to be huge to finally get one home, and for the younger classmen to see what it's like to finally have a home game. And I know we're going to do great, and it's going to be awesome to have a home game.
What's your favorite part about a home opener each year, and why?
The fans. I love coming out of the locker room. We've got our jerseys on, and the music's going. Everyone's just so ready and hype, and it's awesome to see the younger freshmen's face when they're just like, holy cow, like this is awesome. This is such an environment, because most colleges don't have places like this or this great of a facility, and it's amazing what we get to do here.
No, earlier I kind of asked you about Kirsten. I guess just how important is it just for all the freshmen to kind of see this environment as well? Because I know that's kind of what sells a recruit on this place, I guess. So how big is it going to be for the freshmen just to kind of get it home and maybe get that, I guess, that comfort, so to speak?
Yeah, I think it's going to be huge. We practice here all the time, so I think they'll be a little more comfortable and willing to play in their comfort zone. And I think it's going to be good to see that we'll have the crowd on our side this time and tons of fans, and no matter what, like, everyone's going to be rooting for us. And I think they'll just totally feel the more comfort of season and the more home games they're here, and how much better and comfortable they'll be.
What were you kind of looking at there?
I mean, it was definitely a great feeling to score my first goal, but I couldn't have done it without my team, and we had to be fully focused all 90 minutes. And coming off of the loss on Friday, we were showing everyone what we were made of.
How important was it to kind of get that goal just that late? And I guess what were y'all trying to do there? It seemed like you had something going, or I guess did it just kind of happen out of happenstance, or did y'all kind of know what was coming?
I mean, we've practiced those runs like so many times in practice, and we were doing whatever we could to get the ball just to goal. And we had so many shots all across the board from different people. They just weren't falling in, and we were finally able to get one.
Is that kind of a weight off your shoulder?
I mean, a little, not really. I mean, we just had to do whatever we could to score, and we were able to do that. So
I feel like kind of a bounce back for this team, given the way the game went that Friday.
Yeah, we were very upset about the game on Friday, and so on Sunday we just had to show everyone that that's not who we are, and we just did whatever we could to show that we're a fighting team, and we bounced back from losses like that.
I know y'all have been on the road a while. I guess how nice is it just to finally get your first home match now?
Oh, we're so excited to play on Sunday, and I mean, I'm excited to see the atmosphere and the experience of playing on the home field.